Well, the mystery over the death of actor Sushant Singh Rajput is getting murkier by the day. Sushant's friend Riya Chakravarti has moved the Supreme Court. Riya wants the case transferred to Mumbai. Riya has also urged the Supreme Court to not allow Bihar police to continue this probe. NewsX has learned that Sushant Singh Rajput's friend Riya Chakravarti opened this company with Sushant Singh Rajput, and the company was incorporated on the September of 12th last year. The accounts of this company are being investigated as well. Police suspect that 15 crore rupees were transferred from Sushant Singh's personal account to different accounts of this company. Riya Chakravarti's brother, Shovik Chakravarti, is also a partner in this company. And actor Sushant Singh Rajput was found hanging at his Bandra residence on the 14th of June 2020, and ever since the Mumbai police has been undergoing an investigation in the matter and was probing his family, friends, and industry counterparts. However, the suicide case took a new turn after it emerged on Tuesday that his father, KK Singh, has filed an FIR in the Rajiv Nagar police station here, accusing the actress Riya Chakravarti for abetment to suicide. The actress has admitted to being the late actor's girlfriend in an open letter to Union Home Minister Amit Shah, pleading for a CBI inquiry into the matter. The FIR is a 6-page long document and has many serious allegations against the Jalebi actress. Sanjay Singh, Inspector General, Patna Central Zone, said that the FIR registered against Riya Chakravarti under the allegations under various sections, including abetment to suicide on the complaint of Sushant Singh Rajput's father. Urvashi, my colleague, joins me on the broadcast. Urvashi, I beg your pardon, Preeti joins me. Preeti Sonpura joins me on the broadcast to talk more about this. Preeti, a different story is in play right now when you speak of the Sushant Singh Rajput death probe. Obviously, Riya Chakravarti is in the dock.
Police has already reached in Mumbai and investigated the city's crime in Mumbai, and besides this, they've already recorded the statement of Sushant Singh's sister, Me Too at his Worldly statement of Sushant Singh's sister, Me Too at his Worldly's and Vasova residence. Besides this, Mumbai police went to the Riya Chakravarti house in the morning, but Riya Chakravarti and her family was not present at this time. Now the Riya Chakravarti lawyer has filed application in the Supreme Court. And besides this, Maharashtra Home Minister Anil Deshmukh has called a senior level meeting of all the police officers regarding the Sushant Singh suicide case.
Right. Preeti, thank you for joining us. We'll keep coming back to you for more on this development. And joining me on the program is Mr. B.L. Vora, former IPS, Delhi Police. Dr. Pankaj Kumar, he's a psychiatrist. He also joins us on the program. Rabia Amin, Jiah Khan's mother, is also with us on the program. Rabia Amin, if I can come to you first. Thank you for speaking with us and taking out the time. What has been your response at large to Sushant Singh Rajput's death? Obviously, there's been a tumultuous angle to it in Bollywood. The entire talk and argument of nepotism has also started, but at the same time, what happened yesterday is an eye-opener for a lot of people. That abetment to suicide is the angle which is being looked upon now. The father of Sushant Singh Rajput has gone on to say that he was forced into this kind of a mode. He was defrauded by Riya Chakravarti. There was 15 crore rupees which was taken out of his personal account and invested into business. Lord knows where that money has gone. Perhaps there should be a CBI inquiry
now. Yes. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. I do agree that an FIR should have been filed and charges should be formed, and the case should go to CBI because this is now getting bigger than what was expected. And in fact, the Pandora box has been opened. Our eyes have been opened. Now we can get a clear picture that what is happening. This is becoming a real political game between the Maharashtra and the central government. Because when our case went to CBI and CBI wanted to form their court, the Maharashtra state refused. And CBI had said that this will go if we don't form our court, it will definitely go to the benefit of the accused. Now, what was this dialogue at that time? I did not realize, but now today I get a bigger picture. And I do understand that what was happening, because CBI was investigating, the police was not cooperating with CBI, and CBI was not getting the hard evidence from police. It took 15 months for CBI, which is far more than what CBI required. And then halfway through, CBI's investigation got diverted, and the progress got delayed and disrupted, and our case is still fully investigated. So my request to DCBI when I met them was, pardon?
Yeah, go ahead, ma'am. Go ahead.
Yeah. So when we met DCBI saying that what is happening, and revealed that what is going on in Bombay, because the officer in Bombay, CBI officer in Bombay, was trying to hush us, like, just forget about it and just, leave it. Don't go after it. And, your daughter's case is a case of suicide. I said, so show us the medical report. And he was reluctant to show us the medical report, the forensic medical analysis, the report that was very important. So he refused to show us. And then we see it in the charge sheet that it was inconclusive. So those things are raising questions now. I see that they must have been under a lot of pressure from Maharashtra state not to take this case further. And because the accused is being launched, a lot of money is being invested. And, he's going to be another, probably a mega star of Bollywood. But here, excuse me, I said, my daughter has been killed. And so did the senior officers. They understood my grievances, and they told the officer that her daughter has been, she has lost her daughter. So obviously she's here, and for instead of half an hour, she's been here for 6 hours and telling us all the relevant questions. Was the charge sheet, prematurely filed? And where is the ligature? Where is, then he started asking, questioning the CBI officer. Obviously, now our plea to the DCBI is, please replace that officer. Probably maybe he is, how do you say in Hindi? Like pressurized or majboor not to take the case further.
Under some kind of a pressure, under some kind of a dabav. In fact,
Yes.
Shiv Poojan Jha, ma'am, just hold on. We'll come back to you shortly. Shiv Poojan Jha, my colleague, also joins me from Patna. Shiv Poojan, the case of Sushantsingh Rajput is in fact taking a turn on a regular basis this time around. The parents of Sushantsingh Rajput have filed an FIR against Riya Chakravarti. They plainly allege that she is responsible for his death. A lot of people will also wonder, what took them so long? What was going on in their minds for all this while? It's been almost a month and a half to the actor's death. What kind of a research was going on before they took this big step? Shiv Poojan Jha?
Yes, that is one often repeated question which definitely the father of Sushantsingh Rajput does not want to answer. Obviously, the family was not in a condition to file an immediate case into the whole matter. Subsequently, there must have been afterthought and corroboration of certain circumstantial evidence based on which the father of Sushantsingh Rajput went to the police station, the Rajiv Nagar police station, and filed a complaint, and it's a named FIR. Now you see that the Bihar police is already in the investigation mode. 4 officials, they have already gone to Mumbai and they are trying to establish contact with the concerned DCP, but they are not getting the desired time. Many loose ends in the case right from the beginning, and it appears that as is the allegation coming from the family of Sushant, that this case appears to be premeditated, and apparently there was abatement of suicide which has taken place. That particular angle never looked into by the Mumbai police. And that is the reason why when you have got investigation taking place in two separate states, the push, the pressure for a CBI probe into the whole issue, that increases considerably. And that is the reason why it is widely being speculated now that the Maharashtra government may hand over the case to the CBI at this stage. But right now, where exactly does the investigation of Bihar police stands, we are not in a position to tell that. The case is completely open-ended on their front. They have been told specifically to collect all the scientific evidence, the circumstantial evidence in this connection. They have been told to go for all the interrogation that is possible to establish all the allegations that have been leveled by the father of Sushant Singh Rajput. The family is vehemently shouting at the top of their voice that it's not a case of simple suicide. There was abatement which has taken place. There is much siphoning of money which has taken place from the account of Sushant Singh Rajput.
Shiv Pujan, thank you for joining us. In fact, let me also get a quick reaction from Mr. B.L. Vora, former IPS. Mr. Vora, the state, knowing that this case has in fact transcended into being such a high-profile case, the entire city, the entire industry of Bollywood has been shaken up. The core of this particular faculty has also been rattled by Sushant Singh Rajput, and still there are aversions. There is in fact some sort of an uncertainty or a reluctance to get into the CBI to inquire this case. Why do you think that is?
See, the point is that the registration of FIR is not mandatory whenever the complaint is lodged. Police, number one, has to look into it, whether the case can be registered or not under the law. Having said that, since there was so much of pressure, they should have registered it. That is the first point. Now, second is that the party, Sushant Singh Rajput's family, is not satisfied. So they got the FIR registered in Patna. And now the Patna cops have landed in Mumbai. Now it's all a matter of investigation. Now there are two portions in this. One is whether there was abetment to suicide or not. Secondly, the money was siphoned off, about 15-17 crores, whatever it is said. Now the lady previous to me was saying that the CBI officer did not show them the papers, or the charge sheet was not there. Actually, CBI doesn't come into the picture at all. It is the state police which has to investigate, and charge sheet is not filed at this stage. Now, the point is that the complainant was dissatisfied with what was happening in Bombay, so got a case registered with Patna now, and so they have gone there. Now, the accused in Patna, they have gone even to Supreme Court and written to the Home Minister also. But the whole point is, basic thing is whether there was a crime and whether that crime also included abetment to suicide, by which Sushant Singh Rajput committed suicide. Now that is the issue. Now, of course, it's Pandora's box, because so many other things have also come up, about nepotism and things like that. But I would say that, number one, police should fairly investigate and quickly. And the two police forces, they should join hands with that. This is very, very important. And secondly, whosoever is accused, whether in siphoning of money or abetment of suicide, should be booked as early as possible, because this is now becoming a never-ending saga. I mean, and a lot of things, dirty things have come out about Bollywood also, which is in a way good for public to know. But I think people always knew. In Bombay Bollywood always had connections with the underworld also. But now these are two different things. Bombay's nepotism and siphoning of money, now which led to abetment to suicide, this only investigation can tell. And I think that we should give it a fair chance, and let us not come to any premature conclusions that whether one party is right or whether the other party is right.
Right. Dr. Pankaj Kumar, we know that obviously there was a lot of duress in Sushant Singh Rajput's mind. The reasons for taking such an extreme step could have been multiple. But one thing is for certain, that Riya Chakravarti did exercise some sort of a control over him. If money to the tune of 15 to 16 crores has been transferred from his accounts to other accounts. So obviously, there was a certain level of trust that Sushant Singh Rajput had in Riya Chakravarti, and perhaps that was broken.
Yes, I totally agree with you. We need to understand here the situation, what it led to. As I'm not sure what I've heard from the media news, Sushant Singh Rajput was already a patient of depression. He was on treatment. That means he already has a mental state which was depressed. And somehow during lockdown, he could not go to psychiatrist for whatever the reason may be. He stopped the treatment, and he was alone in his flat for whole lockdown period with one of his servant, as I know, as per the reports in media. So a person who is already depressed on treatment, he treat psychiatric treatment medications. Then he was alone in the lockdown, along with a lot of stress going on in his life, personal life, with his some so-called girlfriend and ex, and a lot of things going around. And at that time, patients, we need to understand the patient's mentality and psychology. Patients already depressed, so fragile, so fragile, and even the smallest of stress can be really harmful, and it can push the person to the extreme edge, and they can really take big step or some drastic step in this case. I'm not saying what led to his death or suicide, but yes, as you rightly said, such a big amount taken out of his account probably can have a bigger role to play in adding his to already going on mental trauma and depression and mental anxiety and mental stress, which have been multiplied multiple times. Probably it could have been the reason, as you rightly, if you have said. So there is no hiding in this fact that this has added to the trauma, probably, and it could have been one of the reasons which increased to his psychology of suicide and depression.
Right.
But it is a matter of investigation. But
right, it's a matter of investigation. And talking about investigation, we have some breaking news coming in. Okay, breaking news coming in. Home Minister Anil Deshmukh is likely to announce the transfer of this case to the CBI. This is breaking news coming in, and it has come at a time when we are discussing the Sushant Singh Rajput suicide case. Urvashi Khona, my colleague, joins me on the broadcast to give us more depth into this breaking news coming in. Obviously, Urvashi, with the kind of layers that have come up in this particular case, the CBI needs to get his hands in.
Well, if we see and talk about the whole case, the kind of drama that is going on in Mumbai since morning. In fact, yesterday it was Bihar police that just entered the maximum city for investigating the whole case for the FIR that was registered in Bihar. Now, there has been this petition that is filed in Supreme Court to transfer everything to Mumbai. Meanwhile, while state police, that is Mumbai police, is in question currently, there has been this important meeting that has been called by Home Minister, where all other important people are also available. And moreover, what we understand is that in this particular meeting, in fact, soon, it is likely that there will be an announcement for the same. And over here, by 5 or so, within some time from now, there is likely about an announcement of transferring the case to CBI. But then that is just likely currently that we are hearing from our sources. We just don't know what is happening with respect to the meeting that Anil Deshmukh has called for with other officers, and soon this call will be taken ahead.
Urvashi, thank you for joining us. So, in all likelihood, what we are getting to learn from our sources is that this case could be transferred to the CBI. Rabia Amin, Sushant Singh Rajput was an extremely successful actor. His exploits, they speak for themselves. And for him to have taken his life after a successful stint in television and then transitioning into movies and getting success over there as an outsider was in fact exemplary for people who are looking to become actors. According to you, what kind of a mental duress was imposed upon him, perhaps by Riya, perhaps by the system, perhaps by his own peers, and to some extent by the people who did not like it or like him, that he went so far, that he was forced to take this step?
You know, when you say that so many people saying he was forced to take this step, it makes me laugh. Seriously, and it also gives me a lot of anger. Why? Because you people, these people do not understand. Like Sushant, there are a lot of similarities with my daughter, and I know my daughter very well. When you're isolated by your boyfriend, do you understand me? We give so much love. Then the first thing is, isolation. Oh, isolate them from their own loved ones. And then but Sushant case, he had a dog. He had a full life. My daughter and Sushant had hobbies. Do you understand me? They think beyond all these nitty gritties. They've gone to universities. They've studied. They have, their pastime to read books. They have so much in their life. This whole depression is concocted. If my boyfriend or my husband keeps telling me that, darling, you have a mental problem. You are not on the same page. You better go and get yourself checked. Excuse me, can't I have some of the days where I'm feeling low? Can't I be a little sorrowful when my manager has just died 5 days ago? Give me a break. Can I not breathe? Be alone? My daughter used to love her alone time. She loved reading. I've got so many text messages of her. "Yeah, I'm finishing this book, I'm finishing," and she had a library like Sushant. So, these concocted stories of depression is planted. I am 100% it is planted. And look at the forensic science. When it suits police, they go into forensic science, and when it doesn't suit them, they go for the hearsay depression stories. Look at the forensic evidences in Sushant's, body language and the ligature marks and the injuries. All that has to be. How can you just overlook that? First, you look that and then come to some conclusion. Look at the case as homicide and then come to conclusion. Similarly, in Jiah's case, these two people, I tell you, suicide is beyond their comprehension, beyond their imagination. They are courageous people. Committing suicide is not there in their psyche.
So,
Do
Ravi,
you
I mean, what
understand?
are you implying? They were murdered?
Yes, it is a case of homicide. Sushant Singh has been murdered, and so is Jia Khan. You tell me why police has to do so much of creating stories and seeking help from people. Oh, please, you icon, you Mr. Bhatt, or you so and so, please speak for us. Say he was depressed. Even in my daughter's case, Mr. Bhatt came to the funeral and he said she was depressed. I said, no, sir, she was not depressed. He said, you shut up, you keep quiet, to maybe injection deke sula denge. Is this something that you say? Is this something that you say to somebody who has, to a mother who's crying and who has lost a child? I am very
Is that what
angry at
Mr. Mahesh
Bollywood.
Bhatt said to you, Ravi? I mean, is that exactly what Mahesh Bhatt said to you? That
Yes.
we'll give you an injection and put you to sleep as well?
Yes, yes, and there
At
were
the
few
funeral?
other people. Yes, at my daughter's funeral, and I mean, I was breathless myself at that time, hearing that what he's saying, and all they were interested was to tell media, oh, how depressed she was, oh, she came for work, to me. My daughter, let me tell you, ever since she had an experience with Mr. Mahesh Bhatt, she never looked back. We never went because of the entire behavior. She was only 16. So, I pulled her back and I said, look, this is not for you right now. This is not your space. She went to Lee Strasberg. She went to New York. She was not depressed. She was not so desperate. Same Sushant, they bring him down to their level. It is not these children's level. They are intellectuals. I tell you, you sit with
Ravi, if you think these, Sushant Singh Rajput and including Jia, your daughter, were murdered, what were the forces behind this kind of action?
What kind of forces? You see,
Who are the people responsible?
police is looking for motive. Who has the motive? There are thousands of motives lying around. My daughter had given money to the accused, where next morning, and it was a lot of money. she had given for the new order. And I'm relating to all the statements that were given and they are placed in the charge sheet. I am not speaking out of my head. Do you understand me? So she had given a lot of money and she wanted to find out whether that money is going to be delivered to the jeweler. Her name is, her family, his family jeweler. Whether she's going to, whether the accused is going to give the money to her. He became cold. He's not available. Suddenly, he's become so busy. So there was arguments going on about it, whatever the misunderstanding. Police didn't even go to that level to find out exactly what was happening. It was CBI. I think the Sushant Singh case should go to CBI because whatever it is, whatever the pressure CBI in Mumbai got against my case, not to progress the investigation, but some truth they came out. First of all, they came out with the truth that Mumbai police concocted the story of Break a Bouquet. Secondly, that 6-page notes that Jiah had written in her diary was not a suicide note. And that Jiah had signed films and her state of mind was very happy. So where is the depression story? In CBI's charge sheet, it clearly says the accused is hiding the information of that night. The accused's body language is not right. He is lying and it is him who is saying it is suicide. CBI never said it is a suicide. CBI, yes, because the investigation got compromised or whatever under pressure, CBI did not come to the conclusion what was the cause of my daughter's death. And that is where we are hanging.
Ravi, I appreciate you coming on to our show and speaking with us candidly. Really appreciate it. And Mr. Vora and Dr. Kumar, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.